Hi everyone, welcome to a new episode of Trident Talks. I'm Danielle, the Senior Consultant here at Trident Search. Today we're delighted to have Tracy Shepherd and Emma Weise on today. Hi Tracy, hi Emma.
Hi there, hi Danielle.
Hi, thanks for coming on. For those of you who don't know, Tracy is Head of Channel Distribution at Cybersmart and Emma is a Channel Account Manager at Cybersmart. So first of all, happy International Women's Day. This is one of the reasons why we wanted to get you both on today. I know you're both big advocates and passionate about women in cyber. What a better day to do it. So Tracy, do you want to start off by just telling us a little bit overview of yourself and what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So as you mentioned, I head up the channel and sales team in Cybersmart. My experience in technology has probably been for the last 15 years. 10 of those have been in channel, working in the security space, software space. And that's me summed up.
Yeah. And Emma, yourself?
So like I say, I'm one of the account managers here at Cybersmart. I've worked in cybersecurity for about 4 years now. Previously worked in e-commerce, the music industry, tech, finance. So yeah, lots of random things. But yeah, really kind of pleased to be sitting in the cybersecurity space at the moment.
Definitely. And what do you find that attracted you both in general to sort of get into cyber?
For me, I think it's just so relevant, and it's not just in the workspace, it's in your everyday life. You know, security. So I've got a son, so it's making sure that they secure, myself, my phones, my friends, my family, it can affect everybody. So to me, it's quite a common sense thing to understand. So I don't see it just in work life. It's in everybody. I think everybody somehow can get affected by cybersecurity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Emma, what do you think?
Yeah, so for me, it's probably slightly different. So I like the technical side of things. So I like kind of finding out more about kind of what's going on. I get quite excited when we kind of, we're not excited for the wrong word to use, when you hear about the kind of big cyber attacks and kind of delving into the technical side of things as well. So for me, that was something that kind of drew me in really, and kind of it kept me in the industry for the last 4 years. Yeah.
Perfect. And from your experience, are there any like specific examples where you feel change needs to happen in cyber industry, specifically around women in the industry?
Definitely. I think well, obviously we need to see more of it, but I think we've had the conversation before, is where does it start? And I would say it starts from children, young children, getting them excited about it, getting girls excited about cybersecurity, and giving them the opportunity to go into that. And I think that's where it starts. And the more we do it there, it might take a bit longer. It will start then every year, it will start getting more and more. But I definitely think, I think we should be doing a lot more for females in this industry and in every part of it, not just in, so we both do sales, but in the technical side, in the management side, and in the C-suite side, we definitely need more women in that side.
Yeah, 100%. There's, I've worked with kind of big teams across pen testing, 27001, GDPR, obviously Cyber Essential, Cyber Essential Plus, from a kind of the kind of accreditation side of things, but even kind of looking at kind of the engineers that will be working on products and things like that is so male dominated. It's still better. We've got a number of people at Cybersmart who are leading the way for women in cyber, which is great. But most of the time, the teams I've worked with are predominantly men. There'd be me and 10 guys in a meeting. So I think, like Tracy says, it's starting young, right, and getting people excited and not just going, oh, okay, well, that's when I was at school, it wasn't like that. It was these are the things the boys do, these are the things the girls do. So I think changing at that level,
definitely
to start.
Do you feel like the schools could do more for young girls, for example, like any events that they could hold? Or
I'm trying to think. I've got a son in school, so I'm trying to think. I think schools in general need to do a lot more, not just girls, for everybody, in preparing them for the world and what's out there, and jobs and security. Because we're talking about cybersecurity. My son's 15, and even when I was in school, I don't think school really prepares you for the real world
No,
at all.
definitely not.
Job or anything. I think at a certain age, you should be trying to not mold, but get them into a certain thing and showing them more about the workplace. So I think not just with girls, I think the whole schooling in general kind of needs to shift a bit. It's very set in its ways and exam based and that kind of base, which I think if you brought in like the cybersecurity side and did more things about cybersecurity, actually some of the aspects are actually quite fun, and maybe kids might be interested a bit more into that, because you can make it a lot more fun. And yeah, definitely, I think it's school level, and I don't think it is just for girls. I think it's for both, but with an emphasis, maybe doing, I don't know, getting companies to come in and speak to girls, and getting females to come into schools to talk to girls from these industries, to show them actually it isn't just a bunch of guys that are, the developers or the geeky people. There are women that do it too. So show them actually there is that route forward.
I think the visibility of women in tech as well is really important, and I know that's changing rapidly. We're seeing kind of women in cyber weeks where we're highlighting all the types of different roles that people in cybersecurity are doing, and the women are doing specifically. Women in tech. There's so many things like that now. I think it's really important, and the more that you see that when you're kind of thinking about careers, the more you go, actually, that is something that I can do. I know there's coding classes, and I've had friends whose kids are going to coding classes in the summer holidays and stuff, and there's lots going on around it. I think it's really good, but I think the visibility of the fact that there are women in these roles is key as well.
Definitely, I agree. Do you think there's anything that we could change for women or for young adults to sort of get into the industry? Anything we could do on the market when we're, I don't know, advertising things or advertising roles, for example?
Yeah, it's strange to say that. I was actually I was talking to one of our C-suites, and we're kind of putting something together for a questionnaire for the business on a progression framework. And he was going through, and there was actually a thing you could use on wording and what puts women off applying for jobs. And I think one of the words is like hunter. Women don't generally apply for jobs where they say we're looking for a hunter, and it's just certain words that actually make women don't want to apply. And I think women tend to feel like they should be like 95% be able to do that job, or they won't apply, whereas men are like, I can do 50%, got it. And I don't know how you would change that in an advertisement, or it's just a woman thing.
Yeah, I think there's been an actual study on that it shows that when it comes to recruiting, that women will look at it and want to do at least 75% of the job spec. So when you see things on a job spec that are completely, quite frankly, irrelevant to what you're actually doing, it will put women off. And this is obviously a generalization that I'm talking about here, but it's a study on, and it was saying that women are less likely to apply than men, and men will go, I can do 30% of it, so I'll apply. So I think things like that, making sure the job specs have got really kind of what is actually needed, but also maybe the skills alongside it, rather than, we've all seen job specs that say, experience in Microsoft Office suite and Microsoft Access and all these kind of things. I'm like, well, what are these? I don't use these. So, making sure it's relevant to what the job actually is, and perhaps the skills, rather than just a big tick box exercise.
Yeah, maybe like on the jobs, you would describe it as in a percentage wise. This is critical, and 100% you need to know that. And I know some jobs do that. This is about 30%. If you don't have it, don't worry, and kind of distinguish it like that, because when you just put it all in there, you don't really know with that company what do they find is the most critical parts of the job. And as Emma said, sometimes I think people just put job specs together, and actually when you go into the job, it's actually nothing like the job spec. And you could be missing out on some really, really good talent there, because
absolutely,
just by the job spec has put them off applying. I mean, there's loads that I look at and I would never apply, just because the kind of job spec intimidates me, if that makes sense.
Do you think that's just on the wording that they use?
Yeah, it could be on the wording, or sometimes when they put, like, I've seen some jobs where they put so much on there. I'm just like, blimey. Has somebody just gone off on a tangent and just written a novel of what they need? I would get like halfway and stop, because it's like a recipe. You know, when you look at a recipe and you see the ingredients list, when there's too many, it's like flick the page. Yeah,
I'll do another one. Yeah,
exactly. And that's the same thing with jobs. It's like when it gets too much, it's like, well, yeah, you're looking for somebody that doesn't exist. So you scrap that one. I think it's just about being really honest in a job description.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Not just put nonsense, absolute nonsense, just to fill a page, really.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And then another question: what advice would you give another woman wanting to get into cyber? If they were like unsure, what advice would you give them?
I would say just go for it. I'm very much
as blunt as that.
I don't know. Would you think I'm that blunt, Emma?
I would. Yeah, definitely blunt. So I was going to say the exact same thing. Just go for it, because like I said, I've worked in many different industries now, and actually one of the most enjoyable has been cybersecurity. There's always something to learn, and I think something that's really important is, and it's the same with any job, right? But in cybersecurity, people go, oh, there's so much, and what if I don't know? And it's changing all the time. You know, it's okay to not know the answer to stuff, because we're never always going to know the answer. So actually, not knowing the answer gives you room for development. It gives you chances to learn, to improve. And actually, that's really exciting in cybersecurity, because it's constantly changing. So there's always something new coming out. There's always a new regulation or requirement, or something that needs to happen, or new types of ransomware and malware. That there's so many things that are evolving. So you're never going to know the answer to everything. So it's something to not be scared about, because everybody in cybersecurity is learning. There's no one that knows it all. As much as they may think they do, they don't.
I'd agree with that. I would also just say go for it. Like I said, you know, what do you have to lose?
Very true.
I'm very much with my guy. When I talk to my team, I always say to them, you're not going to know everything. Even when you get on calls with people, just be upfront, say, this is where I am, especially if some salespeople aren't that technical. So if you get on a call and it's with an MSP and they are quite technical, so they are going to ask technical questions, be upfront. As soon as you start the call, I'm going to answer as many questions as I can. When we get into the nitty gritty of technical stuff, I'm going to take this down and I will come back to you. Just never, ever talk rubbish. And I think a lot of them appreciate that, and they'll be like, okay, I know this is a technical one, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because you've been upfront. Just don't try and act like you know something that when you don't know, because a lot of the time you are going to be talking to people who do know, who are technical, and they will fuss you out very quickly. And to me, that's just embarrassing. Don't do that.
And then lastly, if you weren't in sales, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't in sales, I would like, if I wasn't in sales, I would have loved to be a singer.
Really?
Really?
I loved singing at school. My mom just parents didn't put me forward to go into that career, but
so are you a local in a karaoke bar then?
Hell no. No, I won't do that. now, so I'm too old for that now. But yeah, I think I would have liked something like that, or medical. I've always liked the whole medical side, helping people.
Yeah.
I suppose we help people in sales too, but in a different way.
And what about you, Emma?
That's a tricky one, because I've never been that person that's had like this view of what I wanted to do, like so that's a really tough one for me to answer. I remember when I was younger, I wanted to be a paratrooper, but back then girls weren't allowed to be paratroopers. So look, we're changing. Things are changing.
We are changing,
right? So we've got lots of different things we can do now. I think for me, I mean, if I was going to go completely off the piece, I'd be a rock star, right? But like, realistically, perhaps something in the consultancy space. I'd still like to stay in cybersecurity. I like it. So whether it's sales or not, I think something in consultancy around information security. Obviously, data protection is huge and requires quite a lot of attention to detail, which I like. So yeah, probably around that side of things, really. If I wasn't, rock star.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Singer first, singer in a rock band. Well, you can do the rock band. I'll just be some, kids music. So yeah.
Love that. Oh, well, thank you so much for both your time this afternoon. And for anyone watching, I hope this gives you some inspiration and confidence to get into the market.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Take care.